Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined by RVTD General Manager Julie Bowen, as well as Medford Fabrication President Bill Thorndike. Thank you both so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So Julie, let me start with you. We're talking about Measure 15141 here in Jackson County. It's a levy. I don't know how similar it is to the one that failed in November 2014, but what do people need to know about this?
Well, the amount of money that we're asking for is the same as in November. But this time we've gone out to the community again and asked what we did last time. Was that what the community really wanted to see? We've added an additional route into this levy to cover Southwest Medford. And so the South Medford High School area, they moved the high school, of course, a few years ago, and they lost bus service. So one of the things that we're trying to do is the neighborhoods and also the students in that area to help them to actually go out to the RCC campus.
Okay, yeah, certainly very important. What about the exact cost? What could people expect to see?
So the cost is 13 cents per thousand. On an average home of 200,000, you're talking about $26 a year.
Okay.
So for us, the total amount that we're asking for brings in about $1.8 million a year.
Okay, all right. So Bill, you're a businessman.
Right.
You know, you obviously have an involvement with SOU, and I want to ask you about that in a moment. But why do you feel this is so important to the community?
I think having transit options are critical when I think of employees and their ability to get to work, customers, and being able to get to the stores and buy the things that they need. And I think particularly in our community, accessing our healthcare clinics, having good transportation options, including public transit, is absolutely critical.
Okay, so Julie, you know, I know you had the levy, as I mentioned, that failed just almost 2 years ago. So what would happen if this one fails? What would we be looking at? Would cuts be immediate, or what would happen?
Cuts would be over the next year, and so right now RVTD is in a position where we've been able to use our reserves to actually provide a level of transportation services to the community. But as we start dwindling those reserves, we're going to have to make decisions on cutting service. Internally, we've cut all of our staff and over the years, and now we're looking at actual cuts to services.
Okay, so how many people, if you can ballpark it, I imagine you have some numbers, how many people use RVTD buses every day, every month, or anything you can give me?
So this last year, 1.3 million rides were provided just on our fixed route service, and then our Valley Lift service, which is our complimentary ADA service, there was another 60,000 rides.
Wow, so a lot of people.
A lot of rides to our community.
Okay, interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here talking about RVTD levy we've got coming up in just about 3 weeks, 15141 here in Jackson County. So, Julie, what exactly does this measure do?
So it eliminates our operating deficit that I just referred to earlier. It reinstates frequency on the Route 10 going to Ashland, Phoenix, Talent. It expands services again into Southwest Medford and also out to the White City campus for RCC. It also restores Saturday service, which is the most important thing for us. And then increases half-hour service up to the medical center, Rogue Regional.
Okay, all right. So Bill, you brought up an interesting point, and there's a lot of different factors at play here. This very much is a partnership with the community, would you say?
Right. And so I think for public transportation around the United States, it's a partnership between the people putting the fare in the fare box. It's the community paying its fair share, and so with that, given the fact that RVTD has been a great partner for almost 4 decades, has been very conscious of keeping the costs as low as possible for us. But it's time that I ask the public that are within the district to vote yes on this, because we need to have us as valid partners in a process where the people pay the fares and we have access to federal and state programs that greatly reduce the overall cost of mass transit, but it only comes if we pay our fair share. Okay,
all right, interesting. So, and one of the things, you're on the SOU local governing board now. Education, this is pretty important to RCC, SOU. Obviously, we've talked about South Medford High School.
Right. Well, I think, the whole question is how do we make residents of our community successful in education? And when you think of the costs that we now expect our students to pay, if we can reduce some of that cost by reducing their transportation costs, that allows them maybe to finish up one term early at Southern Oregon University, or be able to get the coursework that they want at Rogue Community College. But the reality is we're a spread out community, and if we don't have good public transit, those costs can actually inhibit people from being able to take those courses.
Okay, very good. And so rvtd.org is the best place to find out more information about the levy, cost, and all the information.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you both so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.